Next, we have a partner session on enabling intelligent network for smart campus by Prakash Krishnamoorthy, Director, Aruba India. Aruba's mission is to deliver innovative solutions that harness data at the edge, driving new business outcomes and dynamic customer experiences.
Greetings to all of you. It's really my pleasure to be in your midst today. My name is Prakash Krishnamoorthy. I'm Director for Aruba India. And I'm really very happy and excited to spend this wonderful day participating in this nice summit that has been put up. Education is one of the lifelines of a nation. And I really thank the organizers for picking up this topic, combining it with skill development and innovation, and putting together this conversation for the benefit of our industry. Higher education requires no great emphasis. But then, in the current context in which we live, the higher education institutions are really coming under very high pressure to support the demand for better infrastructure and services, and these are coming in from administrators, members of staff, regulatory bodies, student community, as well as their parents. Digital curriculum, classrooms, design, collaboration, context-aware services, they're all the need of the hour, and they are all to be delivered both on-prem and through cloud services. The campuses are essentially becoming, I would say, small smart cities. And with the Internet of Things, these devices are actually flooding not only the labs, but also the other facilities in the campuses. And these are really forcing a rethink in the way IT is supposed to manage all of them. And you need to handle all these devices, you need to incorporate cloud, and you need to give great experience. At the same time, you also need to secure these devices, the environment, and also protect the privacy of the students and the faculty. That really is the current context in which we live, in which higher education institutions are being forced to look at regroup. So in this context, I feel really privileged to have this opportunity to talk, given the fact that we at Aruba really focused on some of these key aspects, and that makes us more relevant in this time than ever before, right? And for some of you who do not know us, we started way back in 2002, and we brought next generation Wi-Fi to the industry. And then we combined it with other acquisitions and other services which were developed in-house and acquired in order to provide secure BYOD and guest access, as well as location services. It was in this time that we got acquired by the parent company, the Hewlett Packard organization. And then we started combining the wireless and wired services, and also trying to equip ourselves to take on the challenges of the data center. And along this journey, we also made more acquisitions and more innovations. We brought in the ability for supporting our users on AI ops, focused on giving our users a great experience. We moved into SD-WAN, and that's how our trajectory has been. And we have been in the forefront of serving industry and this nation in achieving their objectives of secure connectivity. And where we essentially play is what we call the intelligent edge. These are the places where we work. These are the places where we shop. These are the places where we manufacture. These are the places where our children and the next generation of the society learn. The colleges and universities, and the educational vertical has been one of the very, very focused vertical for us at Aruba, and we have been doing quite some good work helping the education institutions in coping up with their demands. And in this COVID context, also, we do a lot of work. And I'm going to use this opportunity to share with you some of our thoughts and some of the work that we do. Overall, what we set out to do was essentially connect the devices through wireless as the transport medium, and then secure the devices and the users, and then connect them to the data center on the cloud in a secure manner. This is what most network companies do. This is what we set out to do. But with the power given by the cloud and the kind of automation and the tooling and the telemetry capabilities that the network industry was going through, we were able to move beyond. If I can aggregate all the data from the network, at least all the data that the data control plane gives, I'm able to analyze and push the network into a self-learning network. And because I'm able to analyze, I can also act in a manner that is appropriate by using machine learning techniques, right? So we provide connectivity over multiple transport medium. We secure devices and users in meaningful ways, right, based on the principles of zero trust security. And then we gather all the data. We gather the data both on-prem and into the cloud. And then we perform machine learning capabilities on that data in order to make your network intuitive from being reactive to proactive. And then we push it further into what we call prescriptive kinds of network operation, and ultimately move it into a self-learning network, into a network that is able to correct itself, what is called as autonomous network. That's a vision in which we are building appropriate technologies and helping our customers, including education. And while we were working with many of the education institutions to support their laboratory needs for high-speed networks, to provide connectivity in their labs and different campuses in the form of wireless, there is a different kind of a pressure point that the COVID pandemic did bring onto the education and propel us to try solving some of these problems even more intensely. I just came across some interesting studies. Even as we talk, right, in the aftermath of what we call the unlock phase and the beginning of the vaccination drive, and even as we talk today, most of the states, the education institutions have begun to admit at least the final year students or the higher secondary exam facing students. But it's very interesting to understand that nearly 230 million students the world over still continue to be affected by this one single pandemic. And when that pandemic really stuck, people were moved very quickly into emergency measures. The government forced campuses to get shut in order to prevent the spread. But then the institutions and the administrators were forced into another kind of an emergency situation. How do I continue to impart education, and how do I continue to keep the process of learning going on? Right? Pandemic, shutdown, work from home, but that does not mean that the process of learning can be halted, right? And so they adapted certain methods. They try to really make sure that some method is created by which the faculty can teach and the student can listen, and that process continues. They struggled, right? And then it really exposed that they were really not prepared for this kind of a situation. That's why it's called a pandemic. But despite all the investments they have made in technology areas, despite having a robust IT infrastructure and an IT strategy, they were not really wired to support this kind of operation, right? And so it took some time, and then they put it together. But then the other challenges, our faculty, our teachers, they're great people in incorporating knowledge in a face-to-face format. The content was available with them, right? And they have evolved a pedagogy, they had evolved an evaluation method in order to support a face-to-face administration of the process of knowledge transfer and sharing. But then now you have to do that in a virtual medium. And it was a new learning for including the faculty to use a Zoom format, which was more widely adopted in the industry. But academic institutions were forced to use that as a medium in order to train and teach, right? And that really brought with it its own set of challenges. And then how do you evaluate them? That's another kind of a challenges, right? But then slowly and steadily, as we moved from February to March to April, May to June, I think, we struggled, but then we put in place something which is workable. And even as we talk, I won't say that everybody successfully managed it, but then the reality is that you need to have both online and face-to-face training practices. baked into that overall network architecture in the education system so that they are better prepared. With this kind of a background, how do institutes prepare themselves? Right, that's a big opportunity because the pandemic has hit. Vaccination program has started. We are back to school, and in different forms we are trying to bring the institutions back into speed. So we do speak to a lot of administrators and a lot of people who are incorporating and running the academic institutions, like some of who are here on this wonderful session. And then when we talk to them, they look at the challenges in these kind of ways, right? The first of the challenges, I need to give access to the student. I need to give them the device through which they learn. I need to give to the faculty a device through which they teach. Second, I need to give them a transport medium. Not everybody was really equipped with the right kind of bandwidth and internet services and other capabilities in order to connect. Our homes were not ready, right? The labs were not ready. The faculty and the professors' houses were not fully ready. We had some kind of an access technology, but they were not built in a robust manner to support this kind of 8 hours of continuous listening to the student, and continuous hours of teaching, right? 3 4 hours for the faculty member, right? And then you had the content. How do you reuse the content in a manner that it is rendered useful in this digital online format, right? These are all some of the challenges that industry is trying to grapple, institutions are trying to grapple, and industry players like Aruba are actively participating in helping them overcome these kind of challenges. Some of them we were able to achieve, right? A lot of organizations, a lot of government bodies really were making progress in the form of free laptops in India. That really came into big use at this stage. We had a very robust mobile smartphone usage across the country, and suddenly these smartphones become the learning stations for the children. And then the evolution of the 4G really came in as a blessing. Imagine 4G, 3G, 2G, we were not there. How would we have handled this, had this kind of epidemic hit us maybe a decade ago, right? We would have been in education system would have even more higher stress, right? Second, again, with things like social distancing and spacing coming into picture, we still continue to have some challenges because our classrooms were not designed for that. Can we set up community services? These are the opportunities and options that are now suddenly coming to the front. Any open space, can that be converted into a community learning center? Right, that brings in the pressure of how do I extend connectivity into these open community learning centers. There are transport vehicles being used, right? Can I convert them into connected vehicles? Right, these are the kind of options, these are the kind of challenges, these are the kind of thought that our administrators are going through, right? And if you really analytically look at how to go about doing that, right, I would just like to place some recommendations for that. And that will be in the form of, we'll have to first take care of ensuring that access is provided in a secure manner, be it on the campus or be it at home, right? That's a primary first step that we need to accomplish as we move into the post-COVID world, and simultaneously prepare our society, our institutions, and our children for coping up with these kind of challenges should an emergency like this occur in the foreseeable future, right? So how do you ensure that access devices are available? How do you connect them securely onto the network? And how do you make sure that they are able to work in a manner that the faculty is able to teach and the students are able to listen, the faculty is able to evaluate, and the students are able to participate in the evaluation process, and in between they can turn up at the lab, in between they can come to the college, and this kind of an hybrid format is the world in which we'll have to change and adapt and embrace ourselves. Second, I think we did realize that when moving from campus into the work from home or learn from home kind of an experience for the children also meant that individually these houses have to be equipped with higher bandwidths. the broadband services that we have, or the GSM bandwidth, that data bandwidth that we have, are they adequately designed? Are they adequately provisioned for these kind of large scale, widespread access to resources of learning? Right. I think, that is again a thought process which both governmental bodies as well as institutions, all of them have to undertake in order to make sure that we really widen and increase the bandwidth that is available. And then it is easy to say that we create the infrastructure, but then we also have to prepare our academic people, and they would also require some kind of an orientation or some professional development support, so that that face-to-face pedagogy that they have developed, evolved over decades, actually gets modified in order to support these kind of an online format. But will it essentially be back to school? Will it be a combination? I think, that is what we will see. That is what we will learn in the coming months and quarters. But institutions need to be really prepared for that eventuality. Vaccination is happening in the country in a big way. If it gets done, probably we could just come back to the normal format that we are so much used to. Right. But then we went through an emergency phase. We prepared the children, we prepared the faculty for these kind of a complete online. So somewhere, I think, it also gives us a great opportunity to strike that balance and prepare ourselves for the hybrid learning process in institutions. But then the framework, or the IT framework, that these institutions will have to prepare themselves for, has to take into consideration the reality of this online learning necessity, which pandemics like that really force. In that kind of a background, just want to take a few minutes to share with you what we do and how we help institutions in this process. We have all kinds of access devices which can be used both indoor and outdoor, and that help extend the power of connectivity to wherever you are. So connection anywhere, connection securely can be really addressed. And when you work from home, right, how do we securely connect you from your home and the device, along with your identity, protecting your privacy, and then move you into that learning framework offered by the institute, right? Whether you are a faculty, whether you are a research scholar, whether you are a student, or you are some supporting member of staff, all of your roles have to be understood. Each one have a different role to play. How do you do that? Right? So different alternate technology frameworks and elements have got created. We do have a series of dedicated access points, which we call the remote access points, which are really are proving to be very useful in these times for a lot of institutes and a lot of people. They really take advantage of all the changes that have happened in wireless technology, and take advantage of the broadband at the home to establish a secure IPsec tunnel between the home and their institute's data center through the cloud, so that they are able to securely connect into the institutional framework, so that the process of teaching, the process of evaluation, all happens not only in a fine manner, but also in a secure manner, and with IT not coming under severe intense pressure, with scalability. Right? These kind of solutions we bring to market, and they are very, very popular. I think, we have crossed a real tough phase, right, where it hit us, and then we have to go through that. But in the post-COVID, still there are a lot of things which institutions need to really tackle. There is an enormous increase in the amount of technology that you are going to be forced to use. Right? There are going to be more devices, more switches. How do you tackle all of them? So you're not prepared. It does not mean that you cannot overcome this very easily. These are real issues, more devices, more connective options. So how do you really manage? We built an operating framework called the ESP. ESP is all about how do I unify your networks? How do I unify your wired and wireless networks, including all the different transport mediums, so that I'm able to see them from a single pane of glass? How do I incorporate the zero trust security framework onto them so that the connections are secure? How do I take them onto the cloud? And because you are going to manage 5,000 students, 8,000 students, all of them coming from their homes, and 200 faculty members coming from the home, how do you manage them? So you need an intelligent operating framework. That's why the AI ops comes into picture. So the Aruba's answer to the COVID situation, Aruba's answer to the post-COVID situation is in the form of products and technologies which allow secure connections from the home, and also an architectural framework which allows you to unify your campus infrastructure, your home infrastructure, multitude of transport infrastructure, manage them centrally from the cloud, and at the same time give you an operating framework which is built on the principles of zero trust. A lot of people do ask us what are the other things which we need to do in that post-COVID world. So we do build certain things for the institutions that you manage. We have tools which allow you to improve your space utilization while maintaining the social distancing. We do build contact tracing solutions so that if there is crowding of students and boys which are tough to manage, you get some alert and then you try and move them around. So all these kind of new age solutions and technology elements that you require both in-house and along with the partners we have developed, and these are available, and a lot of institutions are beginning to start using that, because that's how you prepare for this hybrid world, right? We can share more at length. And some of the institutions do ask us, is there a better way to really procure them or use them, because this is suddenly forced upon you and you would not have budgeted for that. So we do bring certain kind of consumption based pricing model or managed services pricing model, etc., to support institutions. And very large number of institutions we serve in their process, helping them make sure that the process of learning continues all through the COVID period. And it's a great occasion to connect with all of you. I think great amount of content is being shared, and I think wonderful to be here with you. Stay safe, stay connected, and it'll be my pleasure to be of any help to you in any which form. I and my colleagues in the country really look forward for ways in which we can partner you. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnamurthy, for a precise presentation. Stay tuned for more content.